All right, my friends, welcome back again. So let's take a look at the Linode interface for now. I'll just go ahead and call out the side menu. You see we have the create button here that gives us this drop down. You can create a Linode server, you can create volumes, node balancers, VPC, firewall, placement groups, domains. You can create a Kubernetes container workload, basically setting up a cluster. You can create a bucket, right, which is S3 compatible, and you can also deploy applications with ease from the marketplace, right? If you have multiple Linodes created here, and when we say Linode, we're referring to virtual machines, which is what the Linode platform calls Linodes. Okay, so if you have instances created on your account, you can simply search for those Linodes instances, volumes, node balancers, and or any of the resources that you have deployed on the platform. Clicking on this, you can actually get access to help and support. This right here takes you to the Linode community, where you can read up guides, products, and API documentation. And of course, you can also get to explore question and answers from other community members. So right here, you basically get access to notifications. If you have notifications on your account, you basically get to see that here. This is your account, and you can simply tweak the display, API tokens, your login and the authentication credentials, or set up OAuth connections. You can also set up SSH keys that you can use for communicating with your resources. You can basically use the referrals option to refer friends and colleagues. From the My Settings section, you can also get to configure the settings of your account. So on the account section here, you see we have billing and contact information. You can set up billing information. If I click on that, you see that I've configured two payment options right here, and I can also get to see the name of my account, right? Without wanting to show the billing history, let's just move on. You see we have multiple tabs right here. We have the users and grants, where you can configure users. We have the users and grants, where you can simply configure users and also invite other users. We have the login history, where you can see records of the login actions on your account. We have the service transfers. You can actually transfer services from one account to the other. All right, so let's simply come back to the home page. All right, so I think I want to also describe each of these components that we have on the screen right here. So first we have the Linode. Linodes are basically referred to virtual machines. So you see these are cloud VMs where you can actually host your website, applications, or any other cloud-based workload on Linode scalable and reliable platform. Okay, so these are basically cloud virtual machines. We have volumes. Volumes are basically block storage services. So when you create these cloud virtual machines and you want to attach block storage, this is what you use. You create a volume and then you attach that volume to the Linode. Node balancers are basically cloud-based load balancing service. So you can actually use this for horizontally scaling your web applications hosted on the Linode compute instances. We have the VPC, which means virtual private cloud. Okay, so you can actually create a private and isolated network, and you put in all your resources, on that network to ensure that you have a better way to manage, network policies and basically, what comes in or leaves your network in a secure fashion. Okay, so when you enable your cloud resources to privately to communicate with each other, the internet and other private networks, this is a better way to manage your firewall settings, your inbound and outbound rules and all that. Okay, so we'll get to this, and you would learn how to effectively use the VPC. All right, so firewalls. So a firewall is basically used to control the network traffic to and from a Linode compute instance. And Linode gives us a simple management interface to basically create and manage traffic on our VPC. So we're going to learn to use firewalls to better secure our VMs. Okay, so we have the stack script. So basically stack scripts here are used to set up custom scripts that we can actually use to install and configure software when initializing a new Linode compute instance. Okay, so it's basically used for automated deployment and is configured right here in the Linode interface. We'll get to look at this very soon. Speaking of images, you can actually get to create your own custom Linux images or your custom VM images, enabling you to rapidly deploy Linux compute instances that are already pre-configured with the software and settings that you require. You can basically have a compute instance that you've configured to suit your standard software work. When you need to deploy a new instance, you just have to make use of that particular instance which you have configured as an image. Okay, so we'll get to discuss that more in a later video. We have placement groups. Now, a placement group controls the physical placement of the compute instances that we get to deploy on Linode within a compute region. Okay, so creating a placement group would help us configure compliance settings and ensure that the compute resources that we deploy is basically managed within that same region, right? Of course, this would be handy, especially when you have scenarios where you would need to deploy compute resources in a specific location, probably due to compliance reason or so. We'll get to discuss this in a later video too. On Linode, you can actually get to manage domains. Okay, so we can actually create a domain right here. As you can see, we have docs, so you can also check out the docs to learn how to do this. You can also import a zone, right? So we can put in our domain and set up the remote name server. We import it in here, so we'll get to manage it directly from Linode. So you see, this is a comprehensive, reliable, and fast DNS service that provides easy domain management for no additional cost, which means this is free. This is free to use on Linode. All right, so we have Kubernetes, right? K8. For those of you that know what Kubernetes is already, Linode gives us a fully managed Kubernetes infrastructure, so we can get to deploy and scale our applications within the Linode environment. Setting up the Linode Kubernetes engine, which is LKE, and so that is a Kubernetes service equipped with fully managed control plane. So we can get to set up a cluster right here and begin deploying our workloads, begin setting up pods, and deploying our applications right here on Linode. We also have the object storage. Previously, I mentioned the block storage, which is basically attached to the Linode or the VMs. For the object storage, we can basically set up an S3 compatible bucket, right? Remember, object storage is primarily used to store blob items, right, which are basically what we call the object files. So for example, you want to save a file like a PDF or like MP4 videos or MP3 files. You can basically set up a bucket here for storing such items, and this is compatible with S3. You can easily follow the same process for setting up and managing your bucket within your code. Yeah, so if you're already familiar with S3, then this should come in handy and easy. Okay, all right, so we have the long view. So basically, you can set up long view and configure long view with your Linux servers to capture metrics from your servers. Okay, we also have marketplace. So marketplace is where you can easily click on applications and have them deployed based on your configuration settings, right here anyways. So you see we have Apache Cassandra, you see we have InfluxDB, you see we have WordPress, cPanel, we have a lot of applications and databases, right? You see the items with cluster is to say that these items will be deployed as a cluster, and you can get to manage the instances within that cluster. You see we have applications, right, that you can also deploy and make use of as a business owner. We have the accounting solution right here. We have Upright, we have Bodybase. Yeah, so these are a lot of applications. I'm sure most of us are already familiar with them. You can simply set up even a Django application, Docker, EasyPanel, FileCloud, Flask, right, GitLab. So this is super amazing. A lot of people enjoy this service where they can get to click and deploy easily without having to go through the hassle of configuring these items from scratch. Okay, so this is great. You can check it out in the marketplace. Simply click set up your configuration, your preferred configuration, and proceed to deploy. So long your configuration meets the required configuration to deploy that service, you will easily be able to deploy from here. Okay, in the next video I will show you how to set up a new Linode, and we'll move step by step. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.